Welcome back. Stimulus struggles. The battle over the next round of COVID-19 aid rages on in Washington days after the GOP unveiled its newest version. Democrats and some Republicans not sold on the newest proposal. President Trump weighed in yesterday.
All of the people involved. Steve Mnuchin's done a great job, keeps everybody together, both Democrat and Republican. And we'll see. We want to do what's best for the people. I want to do what's best for the people. I want to do what's best for the economy because that means jobs and lots of good things. All right?
Joining me right now is Oklahoma Senator, Homeland and Governmental Affairs and Finance Committee member James Lankford. And Senator, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to see you again as well.
Where are the sticking points? Tell us. We understand that liability protection is real important, and then there's a debate around the $600 unemployment benefit a week. Stephen Mnuchin's plan to do 70%, with the federal government adding 20% to the states 50%. That would be about $200 a week. What's your take on where we are in all of this today?
Yeah, you're right onto the sticking points there, Maria. Obviously, liability protection is a key thing. Businesses can't reopen, schools can't reopen until they know there's some basic liability protections that are there dealing with this pandemic. Now, this is not about gross negligence. Obviously, if there's gross negligence, that company or that entity would be responsible. But for basic operations, we believe that there should be liability protections across the country. As you mentioned before about the unemployment insurance, I've been overwhelmed with the number of people that have contacted me and said, I have jobs open, I've been trying to hire for a long time now, and people are saying I will return after the unemployment benefits go down, but I make more now on unemployment than I do on employment, so it's better for my family to stay unemployed than it is to go back to employment. Obviously, that's discouraging to the people that are actually still working, that they're working and earning their money, and other people are staying home and earning more. That is always a problem, and that breaks the basics of unemployment insurance. So the target here for us is to be able to present an additional amount to individuals, but not to get to what their previous salary was. Obviously, we have to have an encouragement to be returned to work. That's what unemployment is in the past. Another piece you hadn't mentioned before was on schools. The plan that we have gives some assistance to every school across the country, but those that open will need more assistance. And so those schools that reopen actually will get additional dollars because they're going to have higher expenses as well. It's not just blanketing money out to be able to target to every school as if they're the same. Some will have higher needs than others, and we're trying to target those with the highest need.
What about some of your colleagues who don't want to vote for any new money or any new stimulus package? You've got some people like Senator Rand Paul and Senator Ted Cruz who say, look, we've already got 3 stimulus packages, the last one still on the table with money yet spent.
Right. There's still Paycheck Protection program funding that's still out there. This new proposal changes some of the way that it happens, targeting towards the businesses with greatest need. They have to have 50% revenue loss for them to be able to get it. So I do see some companies that will need help to be able to survive this. There's no goal to be able to try to make everyone whole, but we're trying to do enough to be able to get everyone through this so we can still have an economy on the other side. I see the virus moving health-wise as it does economic-wise. Some people get the virus, they really have no effect on that. Some people end up in the hospital on a ventilator, or there's mortality with it. The same thing happens in the economy. We have some segments of the economy and some companies that have thrived through this, that have had no effect, or their business has gone up because they're in one of those businesses of highest need. Other businesses have had dramatic effects through this. So the main goal that I have is to make sure we're targeting funds towards those who need the help the most and not pouring somebody else's money, which is what tax dollars are, somebody else's money into individuals that don't need it or into companies that don't need it. So we have to have more surgical approach than what happened in March.
Right, because the PPP money in March went to some businesses who didn't need it, some big businesses as well. So I agree, this focus on smaller business and those in needs is really critical right now. Where are the discrepancies with the Democrats? Is it just the fact that they want to have a much bigger package, $3.5 trillion? Are there specifics you can share with us in terms of where you're finding pushback?
Yeah, so there's significant pushback here. Take the unemployment assistance, that additional $600 per week that now goes away July the 31st. They want to take that $600 a week and extend it all the way into next spring, regardless if we have a vaccine, regardless of what it may be, $600 additional a week to everybody in the country. I think that's a terrible idea. They want to also extend the economic checks that are going out to individuals. They want to extend those to people that don't have a Social Security number. Those are people that have a tax ID. Many of those people are illegally present in the United States. We certainly don't want to be able to do that. They want to be able to change the way that we vote in America permanently. And this has become suddenly a new proposal for them to be able to change voting, take away all voter ID laws across the country, to federalize all elections. We look at that and say, well, what does this have to do with COVID-19 long term? And so there's lots of issues that they've got in their bill that we say that's absolutely absurd. We're not going to change all voting in America permanently. We're not going to do checks to people who are illegally present in the country. They have a lot of different proposals there on the environment, on things that would go, okay, that has nothing to do with COVID-19. So we want to try to keep the focus on issues that are actually related to health issues and to try to get through the economy, not to use this as a big wish list. And over $3 trillion in a single bill is larger than the previous 4 bills combined.
Unbelievable. I mean, the numbers that you're talking about, what your colleagues on the left want, it's like there's no acknowledgement whatsoever of the $21 trillion in debt that this country faces. I want to switch gears and ask you about what is a mysterious story to us. Americans across the country have been receiving mystery seeds from China in the mail. Officials are urging people not to open or plant these seeds. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, this has happened all over the country, and it's one of those issues that everyone says, oh my gosh, the Chinese trying to sneak invasive seeds into us. I think it's actually more just typical Chinese fraud that is happening. It looks like it's called what's called a brushing scam, where a retailer, an online retailer, will just mail out packages, mislabel them. They're labeled jewelry or they're labeled toys. They get to a real address, and once they're delivered to a real address, they then take that address, use a fake email address, and write a positive review on their website saying, I purchased this toy or I purchased this jewelry. It was delivered, and it can be verified that something was delivered to them, but then they write a fake review on it to be able to bump it up. So again, I go back to the most basic thing. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, even some of those reviews that are out there, because it looks like this company is trying to bump up their reviews.
All right, Senator. Wow, another scam. Senator, good to see you this morning. Thank you so much. James Lankford joining us in D.C. We'll be right back.